I'm Marilyn Rathbun. I'm Kyle's mom.
Hello, I'm Paul Rathbun. I'm Kyle's dad. We can't wait for the presentation.
Hello, I'm Matthew Rathbun. I'm Kyle's brother.
And I am the one and only Kyle Rathbun, and this is my presentation on the salary gap between men and women professional athletes. Right. In my GOA course, Advanced Topic in Economics, I've gotten the wonderful opportunity to research a variety of global issues and use my knowledge of economics to come up with some possible solutions to these problems. This presentation that you're about to witness demonstrates all that I've accomplished throughout this course, and I'm especially excited about it because this certain topic holds a special place in my heart. I'm going to talk to you about the salary gap between men and women professional athletes, some problems that this issue faces, and some possible solutions to these problems. Right, what is the gender pay gap in professional sports? In the world of professional sports around the world, women professional athletes are paid significantly less than the male athletes in nearly every sport with the exception of tennis. One question that has been up for debate for some time now is whether professional women athletes shouldn't receive the same pay as male athletes. There have been many particular events in sports history which have contributed to this controversy, but none more so than the 2015 Women's World Cup, which will be touched on more later in this presentation. Why have I chosen to research this? I've chosen to research this topic for a number of reasons. The main reason is because I have always loved watching and playing sports, especially basketball, and for some time I've heard people talk about the gender pay gap in the workforce. I've always been somewhat interested in this discussion, but a topic that has been intrigued me even more so is the gender pay gap in sports. This project has given me the opportunity to culminate my research and state my own educated opinions on this issue. Right, so this is my thesis. After much research and thought on my topic, I've come up with my very own thesis statement. It says that women professional athletes are not able to be paid as much as male professional athletes at this point in time due to a combination of economic and social factors faced by the women's professional sports athletics programs. Is it time for change? Through my research, I've stumbled upon many articles that support that professional female athletes should receive the same pay as professional male athletes. In professional sports, it has been proven that women have a 200% higher chance of neck injuries than men. Another interesting fact that I stumbled upon is that women professional athletes that work just as hard as men are only capable of achieving a fraction of the upper body mass that men can achieve, being that they can only achieve that men can have more than 30% more upper body mass than women. That being said, women have an advantage in long distance running, which also helps in professional sports. In the golf world, male professional athletes are paid significantly more than females. Seung Hyun Park, the number 2 ranked female golfer, made $2.34 million in 1 year. That same year, the number 143rd ranked male golfer, Mackenzie Hughes, made $2.36 million. One reason for this insane gap between these two athletes' pay is that over 99% of sponsorship money for professional athletes is directed at male sports. An example of how this can affect the athletes is the 2015 Women's World Cup. Throughout the time of play, the game received 20 to 24 million viewers on TV, numbers that are comparable to that of even March Madness. The U.S. women's team won and only got $2 million, which made a lot of people upset, since the people thought that they deserved a lot more than that. Perhaps it is not the best solution. After all of this being said, there are in fact some economic problems that arise from the issue of women professional athletes being paid as much as men. For example, the demand for female professional sports is significantly less than that of professional male sports. Professional sports are in a perfectly competitive market, and that the men and women's sports organizations make only what the consumer is willing to spend on the product. Because of both of these reasons, females do not make nearly enough money to make as much as men in the field of professional sports. Another significant economic factor that contributes to men earning more money than women athletes is that male professional sports use outsourcing much more frequently than female professional sports. Outsourcing in terms of sports would be bringing in a new player to the team that was originally from another team or even another country in order to help out that team. Although outsourcing in the business world aims to lower the cost of getting something done by getting someone outside of your company to do a desired job for cheaper than anyone at your company could do it for, it works a little differently with professional athletes. While professional sports teams might have to pay more for bringing in athletes from another team or even another country, the organization will accumulate more profit in the long run, assuming that the player is good enough. Looking at the World Cup in 2014, the Men's World Cup received $529 million from sponsors. The Women's World Cup, on the other hand, received only $17 million from sponsorships. If we are looking at percentages here, the Women's World Cup victors received 11% of their sponsors' money, while the male victors received only 6.6% of theirs. Although many people are outraged at how little women's soccer players are paid, there is simply no way to pay women athletes money that their teams do not have at this time. Possible solutions to raising professional female athletes' salaries. My first solution in helping to solve the gender pay gap difference between men and women professional athletes is for the female professional sports organizations to start a fundraiser or invest money into acquiring an entirely different TV channel for women's professional sports. Doing this will increase the supply and accessibility of female professional sports, which will bring attention to and increase female sports popularity over time. In the short term, the acquisition of an entirely new TV station dedicated solely to female sports will make headlines and no doubt bring awareness to the new system of sports and will marginally raise the quantity of female professional sports fans that are willing to watch these sports on a regular basis and even go to support them at their home games. In the long term, if women continue to play at the high level of play and competitiveness that they currently are, people will start to go to the women's sports channel, assuming that there are not any huge professional male sports events going on at that time, such as the Super Bowl or March Madness. An entirely separate channel for female professional sports will bring way more popularity into women's sports and eventually lead to a pay increase for female professional athletes. Women's sporting events typically air on the same channel as male sports and as a result often get overshadowed by a male-dominated channel. An unintended consequence of female sports getting their own channel is that this will lower the prominence of male professional sports, which will cause for professional male athletes to receive less pay. This, however, will unintentionally further female athletes to the goal of being paid as much as male professional athletes. While men would still be paid more, since more men are avid sports fans than women, this would definitely help women get closer to their goal of pay equality in sports. This then would hurt male professional athletes and help female professional athletes, since having their own TV channel draws more attention to female professional sports and makes it stand out more, which will over time raise its popularity and prominence among female sports fans. Another possible solution to help raise popularity for female professional sports so that they may be paid more like male professional athletes is for female professional sports teams to invest excess money in advertisements. One of the main issues with female professional sports is that they are always in the shadow of male professional sports. In order to stand out from them, women athletes must make themselves known by airing more commercials on sports channels and setting up billboards on highways to raise publicity for female professional sports. This demonstrates the qualities of a perfectly competitive market. Companies have the right to do what they want with their business, and if they wish to succeed in the future, advertising is one of the best ways to increase awareness for your product. In the short term, due to the sudden emergence of an abundance of female professional sports advertisements on billboards and on TV, people will begin to talk about female professional sports and gain more of an interest in it, significantly raising the demand to watch female professional sports. In the long term, female professional sports will become such an integrated part of our lives, that we will not remember what it is even like to live without the abundance of female professional sports. Fans will partake in both male and female professional sports activities. For an unintended consequence, much like the solution of female professional athletes starting their own TV channel, the abundance of female professional sports advertisements will unintentionally lessen the popularity and prominence of male professional sports. Because of this, advertising for female professional sports will without a doubt hurt male professional athletes and significantly help female athletes. My last possible solution to help women professional athletes be paid as much as men, instead of trying to raise the popularity of female professional sports, we can instead merge male and female professional sports into one huge sports organization that integrates men and women on one team. Because of the inability for most women professional athletes to compete with men at this point, this would create a severe shortage of women professional athletes, and the market would produce even less professional women athletes than the current demand is now. In the short term, there will only be a few women that would be able to compete with male professional athletes at this level and would as a result create a severe shortage of female professional athletes. In the long term, realizing that they have to compete with male professional athletes, women would start to work harder at their given professional sports, and women would over time create a more dominant presence in the professional sports world. As an immediate unintentional consequence, females that have been doing their professional sports for a long time might suddenly be out of a job if they cannot compete with the male professional athletes of their same sport. Although the few female professional athletes that could compete at that level would in fact receive the salary that a professional male athlete would, there would be plenty more professional female athletes that would not be able to compete at this level, and thus they would be out of a job. This then would hurt professional female athletes that are not able to compete with men, but would also significantly help exceptional professional female athletes that are able to compete with men in professional sports, since they would be paid significantly more than they would have in female professional sports. There are some key areas of further research that need to be done in this topic area in the future. One of these is to identify the best possible ways to improve women's professional sports popularity. This could be some of the possible solutions that I have suggested, such as starting a separate TV channel or advertising, or it could be something even more creative than that. Another step of research that needs to be done is that women's professional sports organizations need to devise a way to earn more income so that they may pay their athletes what they feel that they deserve. I hope you all enjoyed my presentation and took something away from it. Thank you.